Let's see. Hello. Much better. I am small. Look at me, world. I'm small. Hope everybody can hear me. We got volume on. We got TV on. We need some music here, some ambient music. How many people here love Blade Runner? I'm feeling a little bit more like Blade Runner today than Indiana Jones Raiders, right? Well, let's turn that music down so I'm not deafened. Oh, look at that. I can go big. Cool. I still don't know all of this restream, to be honest. Now I'm like way too. Hello, I'm a giant. Let's stop sharing, maybe. Why am I so gigantic? That's really how I look? I think that's a bit more approachable. But it's like, anyway, it looks cool, right? So if anybody wants to hop on tonight, I have some things listed. I don't really have super plans. Of course, I do want to give away a Josephina head with that cordiform shaped face and that elongated skull. Of course, these aren't the elongated skulls we're used to for Paracas, right? They actually they're more like that, right? Isn't that interesting how that change occurred? But those peaked skulls you can see in apes, can't you? But that would require a sagittal crest. I haven't really seen any sagittal crests, have you, in the Tridactyls? So, yeah, using this restream ambient, we're here to talk. Let's talk Tridactyls. Maybe we'll have some guests tonight. I don't know. I guess I'd have to put the share out. Sonny, you share? Not that share. Tridactyls. A lot going on. I don't know if you guys heard, but we're waiting for the 6 DNA tests to come in. Yeah. So that's going to be on 6 different specimens. So that's going to be neat, right? Right? What else is happening in the world? What can we show you? What could we share today? I, of course, do like to bring up that myself is a bit distracted, is what I like to bring up by a variety of things here on Sunday night, 7 p.m., filling in the In Search of time slot. I guess, I'm kind of beating around the bush. In the back of my mind is this group of willful skeptics. So, yeah, in the back of my mind. But, of course, the good thing about skeptics, and we say this all the time, which is, the good thing about skeptics is that they encourage discussion, they encourage research. My problem is these recent bout of skeptics, I don't know if they're actually engaged in any real science. The credentials are spectabulous, but some of the things they're saying isn't right. I should be more specific because I require them to be specific. Well, first of all, the manipulation on the hands. Since we have Miss Maria up, we could always just see if we can just take a quick peek at some of that morphology. That would be not a bad idea, right? Since she is the topic. I mean, I just had her on just the background. I wasn't really planning on doing too much with her. Oh, but then again, we do have to discuss the Euro style. But what? Euro style. It's a Euro style. It's the way we dance. No. You see, since that Cossacks, I always want to say Cossacks. Wow. Don't do drugs, kids. Me, I'm hooked. Cossacks. I should know. It's got like my name in it. I always want to say Cossacks. You cock it first. Cossacks. Like the Cossacks. Anyway, that's been a debate, and maybe we should start with that instead of the hand. So let's go take a look at her tailbone, if we can. So my assertions are let's add up some traits here. In fact, I'm going to type them so we can see them below. So it seems like we have cutaneous breathing. And we have tridactyly. Of course, duh. Tridactylism. Maybe that's a better way. Tridactylism. Sometimes you just have to make up words if the ones that are around don't work. And what I suggest is this Euro style. So no one should be really shocked if we happen to find a larva in metamorphosis after all of this. Now, of course, it could just be that it was, as someone suggested, maybe it was just chewed off. Maybe that's part of it. But this piece here looks, well, I mean, I don't know. Bones can smooth over time, right? Especially if it was seated. By the way, I have her like so, right? Look, so let's see how they scanned her. Right? She's on the surface there. This is the way I've been trying to show her instead of upright. I think this is probably more as she was found. Obviously, we can flip her over when we want to see more. So anyway, is the coccyx just missing? Or is it possible even the larvae themselves may have gnawed their way out? Let's see if we can see some larvae on this side. Let's switch over to my soft tissue setting, right? Trying to read a computer screen through your dramatic lighting. How do I look? Yeah, we're gonna have to remove a few layers first. Whoa. How's everybody doing? Everyone's listening out there that wants to join the show. Maybe even you just want to do some audio comments. You're welcome to do that. You know, if the regulars don't come, the regulars don't come. We've got stuff to talk about. It's always good to have some other people on the show to keep me occupied. So we are at her butt, and we're going to remove a few layers here, which I think are what? Each like click of the mouse is like, I think 3/4 of a millimeter. We're going to skip the feet right now. I mean, we've been in the feet so many times, at least I have. And we're just going to start with the butt and see what we see. Of course, everything for me on soft tissue is always just full of life. Let's see, what if we flip her over on her back and maybe that'll help people make sense of what we're looking at. We are looking at Maria, the Nazca Tridactyl. One of the reasons we wanted to look at her again is because it was suggested that recently she was manipulated, which I guess it's sort of a waste of time. Maybe that's part of it. Waste our time talking about the same points over and over again. Just happen to zero in on some things on the feet here. But really, we wanted to look at the butt. And, so, you know, we have like these things in here like such. So we could say, well, that could be anything. That's what most people say to me. So I don't, you know, how do you, I'm sorry if I'm getting anybody seasick out there. I don't know. I think my computer just does weird things. Maybe just because I'm so large, but that's interesting. That's not a bad shot. So I suggest that is a larva coming at us. Now I could see if maybe we could manipulate it, but you know, the better thing to do is let's do this. How's everybody doing out there, by the way? Thanks for watching. I suggest that's a larva there, but for me really to appreciate that larva, we're gonna have to maybe switch screens here. Let's see if something like that'll work. Also, you know, I haven't been pushing this too often because I've just been busy, but I do have a store out there, and if anybody wants to add some art to it, that'll be fun. Don't really make money on the store. It's $40 a month, I think. I think I have to sell like, you know, 40 shirts a month or something to make that worth it. So I don't know. It's kind of weird to keep a store like that. Anybody has any ideas? I'm not a t-shirt salesman. I always think of the heavy metal bands that were like, they just became t-shirt salesmen, you know? All right, we're just going to share a window here. Okay, cool. That's kind of exciting. I'm not going to play with the, am I? I don't care if you guys can see the controls as much. So what are we doing? We're looking at the butt of Maria. You know, there was talk maybe that she was, there was consumption there. And then I just said, well, there's probably consumption from the larval forms. And look at that. So it looks like right here we could have either two different size beings of two different stages, but also any of the larvae that come near the top of the surface of the bone always appear a little larger. So how can I tell it's a larva? Well, we have the black void eyes once again flanking a rostrum beak. And over here you can see what almost looks like, could be like a wee frog person. And perhaps that's even, looks like perhaps, I can't tell like if that's a little hand or it could even be larval eyes. How could we improve on this one? Well, at the very least, what I can do is maybe mark it. Because every time I open up a new one, I usually just start over. Yeah. Let's mark this little, let's mark the one next to him too. So there appears to be like a little frog person here and a little larva. I wonder what the measurement would come up. Gosh, we're really in there. We're in there tight. I mean, come on. What is that? That's 12 millimeters. So it's a centimeter, right? Now, is this guy going to be the same? What's up? We got, oh, it's Thundercat. Thundercat, you want to come on the show? Let's talk Tridactyls. I can grab a link here. Invite, assign participant scenes, copy invite link. Do you hear that, people? I have an invite link. Well, I'll send it over to Thunder anyway. Todd, I believe, is his real name. I just outed him. Now we know who he is. Let me pull back so we can actually look at something. Yeah, so what do you guys think? Do you see little critters there? Or is Mr. Ed just gone mad? I've gone mad with my minute amount of power. Anybody watch Star Trek Academy this week? I really want to talk about that. So, yeah, I mean, let's see. There we go. We could even, I wonder if I should just send Buddy a like that. All right. So we got Thunder just got sent the link in case he wants to join. Oh, there's Fat Jesus. We'll send him a link as well. Fat Jesus Live. I think he likes to be spoken to on the Facebook Messenger. Yeah, I didn't like send out any particular invites. I'm hoping that people know. You know, I don't like to. Like when I was a dungeon master, it was like the game was every week at the same time. You know, we didn't like have to discuss it. It's kind of what I'm doing here. The show's every week at 7. Hopefully we wrap by 7:45. The show's interesting. We'll go longer. All right. Look at that little dude. See this? Those. Well, usually I think the claws come up white though, so maybe that is just another little larva there. How can we improve upon these guys? But that's the fun about soft tissue. So everybody's talking about, you know, the fingers and toes, and I'm just like, who cares when there are tiny little frog alien babies? I mean, I don't know how, like, are you entertained? I don't know what else people want. It's nuts. The lack of interest is just insane. Look, even from this view, he looks a little different. He looks a little better. I don't know if you can tell that. Of course, we could just go right now and check one of our other slices. Welcome. Welcome to Let's Talk Tridactyls. I'm your host, Mr. Ed, xenoanthropologist and former archaeologist for the Graves Museum of Archaeology and Natural History. What's up?
Good evening. Good to be here.
Thank you. It's good for you to be here also because it makes my job that much easier. I can talk to myself pretty good. I do it all day, but
my screen's looking similar to yours. I'm in 3D slides.
Aha! See, we can work this together. I have to send you I don't know what you're going to be looking for, but I had to add this Python script that cuts the slices down even thinner, and let's see here. I can usually.
Is that improving some of the visuals?
Yeah, let me see. I've asked this before. Sure. So I go to the soft tissue settings typically. I was just there. Where was I?
Show me the soft tissue settings, because I'm pulling up. Well, I'm trying to get to those dicoms where they've got more slices.
Detail?
Yeah. So like the 925.
Oh yeah. It was like
963.
That's the one I usually open. Yeah.
But when I pull in the 963, then when I try to render in 3D, I'm only seeing the skeleton, only seeing bones.
Right. So that is the intensity, I guess you might call it, the shift.
Okay.
And you shift. So I get so distracted. You were asking me to do something the other day, and I just kept getting distracted by.
So in volume rendering, that's one of the modules. So I can go in there and I could grab like CT pulmonary, and that one seems to give me some level of detail where I can see where skin or flesh should be, but then I still don't have those layers. So what I was thinking of is
the other thing you have to do is play with
scalar opacity mapping.
Scalar opacity mapping. Yeah, that I use typically, and again, I'm not a radiologist, so I use that to reduce the bone many times. So if I drag that down, I think that'll do that. Yeah, sometimes it's too much though. So I use that to reduce. It's helped sometimes. Maybe I just pulled something out just now. So, it's good we're doing this because, again, I think more people should do this. And, I wish we did have a radiologist on here. So, everybody can go to tridactyls.org. Let me go ahead and put that in the chat box so people can see that.
Yeah, I mean, I know my way around 3D software, but this one has obviously settings that I'm not used to.
Oh, you do, huh? You know your 3D. That's good to know. Okay. Yeah. So what are we trying to help me stay focused here?
What I want to do is I'd love to pull up a shot of.
Well, how about I let you share too? That's a good idea. I could probably let you share a screen, I think.
That might help me get the visuals here faster. So
let's see. Is that a thing?
Yeah, I can share my screen. I can share this window.
Nice.
Right? But this is just using, what is it? The CT pulmonary. So if I'm just using bone, doesn't really give me what I'm looking for. And this is soft tissue. So that's what I'd like. I'd like to.
So use the third. Well, there's different ways you could do it. You could do if you're looking for more fleshy material, use the third bone category. Now here you have to use your shift and shift.
Okay.
There's a sliding shift bar, and that'll bring more flesh to the.
So where is that bar?
Let me go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and you know what? I'm going to do the same thing.
Yeah. Walk me through it, because I believe we should have all the same buttons and options.
Yep. Okay. And also, is there a way to, I don't know how you like share. I forgot how to share all the different screens. Anyway, it doesn't matter, does it? Yes. So welcome to Tridactyls.com also, where I have a cool t-shirt store. I suggested earlier if anybody wants to donate any art, that'd be fun. Otherwise, I've been paying an artist like $50 a pop. Oh, here we got Fat Jesus coming in while we just add chaos to the already chaotic scene. He's got his Piff helmet on. I got drunk.
How you doing, everybody?
Last time it was a cowboy helmet, wasn't it? A cowboy hat.
Is that what it was? Some sort of adventure hat. Well, now that I shaved, I'm giving my hat a break. I sweat here anyway. So
next week it'll be a bike helmet, I hope.
This one is a straw hat. The one I have is more for the summertime.
Here we go. All sorts of stuff coming in.
Y'all can hear me, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
All right. So we both got our Maria's up. How fun is this?
Oh,
Fat Jesus, you're gonna have to get your own Maria. Your digital Maria. All right. So up here in the left.
It is beautiful. Look at it.
Let me fix my screen. So see,
images.
That's a good reason to you keep your screen big, because actually it's as big as it's gonna get. No, customize. I want to move it over so you can see everything. Well, really, you know what we should do is just share my screen. But okay, so up in the left here, you see that shift bar here? It is above your scalar opacity. In fact, it's changing the scalar opacity.
Shift. Oh, there it is. There it is. Yep.
And I like to use the black background personally.
How do you switch the background?
The black background is under the drop-down menu on your blue screen. So up here, I think I'm having trouble seeing my own screen. Up here in the blue corner here. I think maybe it's the last one.
Okay, so I go there.
It's the grid.
The grid.
Oh, no, the grid. No, the grid brings me back. No, it's not the grid. Anyway, I have it. Do you see my little
shadows
menu
visible, size, scale,
no, it's
intensity?
weird. The menu's not coming up. It's not getting shared. Maybe it's too small. Yeah, and then so another little menu comes up.
Yeah, I see it. So
we're using, of course, Javier. We're using Slicer 3D or 3D Slicer.
Oh, yeah. I'm letting you guys go ahead and do it. That stuff gets a little too complicated for me.
People were talking about the Cossacks, the missing Cossacks, and
wow, you could even, it has a setting in there to go stereoscopic.
Oh, is that what that's for? Do three? Oh, I
yeah,
so
if you had the glasses, then
I bet I have glasses somewhere. I'll order some fresh ones.
That would make it really interesting to work in, because not only
and then take a tab of acid. Woo. Oh man.
Just entered. Let me get my popcorn. I thought it was Jaws 3D.
Right.
Wow.
So check this out, guys. I suggest that this bone here, this very strange, elongated bone, is a frog tail. That is something you don't see on a human. The other thing you don't see really on a human is our Maria's otic ear capsules. I don't know if we've probably looked at the ear capsules of other tridactyls before, but I don't know about Maria. Let's see. So then you got to ask yourself, well, what am I going to use, right? To see what setting am I going to use to see these things? And I don't know, because now I just changed screens. Bone. Let's see.
Hey, Ed, in 3D view, how do you enable the options to move and scale, or like what you were just doing, kind of cut away from the slices?
Well, I would like to say I was trying to learn how to even there's a way
that's proprietary. You can't.
There's a way where you should be able to cut through and remove areas like you would like cake or ice cream. A cake. They're cake.
Yeah, you've got not just the cube, but you have the green or red handles.
That's okay. So yeah, that's the Roy, and that is so you have to hit the Roy box. I pull that off and on now and then, but right now it looks like, see, I couldn't see what I was pushing, so it's like now like it's not even showing the 3D. So
oh no.
Makes me have to start over again. I was trying to click through. Hey, so yeah, Euro style. And what was the other thing that people were talking about? Oh, you saw the thing about the tendons, huh?
Well, is this the tendons on Maria's fingers and toes?
Yeah, so they were suggesting that she had too many. She only had 3 fingers, but she had 4 or 5 tendons. And the craziest thing is, I learned that tendons are not standard on humans. They can fluctuate. So one of Maria's fingers does look like it has 2 tendons leading to it. So that was some interesting research.
Where was that published, or was that just some offhand observation?
Which the extra tendons?
Yeah, is that?
Yeah, that's something. That's something Incredulous History is doing, and the Willful Skeptics.
Okay, so it's not actually published. It's just something that they're covering and talking about.
It's something that they're suggesting that since there's evidence of extra tendons, that the fingers were removed.
A lot of these things are all people observing and seeing through all these videos and what he's doing right now with the MRI.
What really matters is that if their credentials are important to them, to then make a publication rather than just secondary, because then they're actually putting their credentials up, right?
Right.
If they never publish anything, this is just banter.
Yeah, and it's I guess, I said when I started the show that, of course, skeptics are good and more dialogue is good, all those things, because every skeptic sends me on a research phase, right? Like, why is this like that? It's not that it's, obviously, because their answer for everything, it's, well, not even, they have 2 answers, right? It's either a doll or it's a cadaver, right? It's almost like people switch to what they're on.
I wasn't really following the tendon one, but I was following the other one.
The recent thing was the tendon one.
Well, there's the navel, and then there's also the what is it? The coccyx.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh man, I hate when this happens now. So like even after I close the scene, like I can't pull up my own 3D.
Yeah, so the scrutiny on the navel part, they were saying online that, it could just be hidden due to the desiccation and the drying.
Folded skin, yeah.
Folded skin. However, the way that discoveries on these mummies are made, is through CT scans. So CT scans pick up the incisions, injuries, or smaller details that, visibly you wouldn't just by looking at the surface, you wouldn't notice it. So CT scans.
I'm assuming that theirs was a surface assertion, but
yeah, but the CT scans of the, for example, Maria and the others, it shows enough detail. So if there was a navel there, it would have picked it up.
I don't know. I mean, you'll have to. I don't know. There's a lot to say. Yeah, I don't know if the hands-on researchers have gone into enough detail at all on the inner organs of these things.
Skin being the largest organ.
Well, there you go. So there's definitely, I think there's a lot of room for discussion still. Yeah. What's Fat Jesus have to say today?
Well, the most important thing is the video that you sent me about the disclosure of the they had a meeting this week on the validity of the tridactyls, which was disconcerting about the Peruvian government and the scientific community in Peru. And this is just recently, and they found out that the mummies are real. That the Peruvian government is actually they're not saying that they're hoaxes anymore.
Right.
Although the two dolls that they encountered in the when they confiscated them, yes, they did consider them as dolls. But the other specimens, they did preliminary testing, and they found out that these mummies were manipulated over 800 years ago. They weren't recently manipulated, or they have been
manipulated in what way?
Well, they found that some of them had the pinky finger and the thumb, and some had a heel.
Oh, that's Wawita specifically.
Yeah. So, but a lot of people are focusing on that and saying hoax, hoax, hoax. And as an anthropologist, and I'm a student of anthropology because I'm still getting my graduate degree in it. My thought is, why would you, 1,000 years ago, with all what technology and all and how you did it, why would you do it? What did you mimic? What did you look at and say, I'm going to make 3 fingers, 3 toe?
Hey, real quick, can I interrupt for a second? I want to ask each of you a question. How's everyone's audio? Ironically.
Oh,
you
sound good.
Mine's clear.
I sound good. You guys sound good. Somebody's griping on X. Bro, get a mic. Why is everybody amazing? Usually the people that complain, right? It's like, it's you.
Do I sound good?
Yeah, no, somebody on X is like, they need an audio engineer, someone to balance their mic. Sounds like shit, hard to focus. What the hell?
I thought my mic was
actually that sounds like an X streaming issue. I don't think that has to do with the broadcast.
Oh, it is?
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe some lag issue dealing with X.
Anybody on X, there's a YouTube stream going on at the same time.
Watch.
Maybe it's Elon Musk. Maybe he doesn't want the show.
Yeah, just send him over to the YouTube stream.
Go to YouTube.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the point is that I'm trying to make is that there are certain terminologies in the archaeology field that says that the human culture likes to mimic what they see. They don't understand what they see. They don't have any scientific understanding. In fact, science didn't exist. It's more religious belief. So when they see something, they worship it like a deity or something, and then they shape it. They create it. they chisel it, they draw it, and in this case, they mummified it. And they made a human that was probably chosen by whatever came to this earth, or whatever, 3 finger, 3 toe was on this earth, and
Yeah, but
then
you have
they
to understand,
remade it.
if according to my research, is that even though Wawita is manipulated, I still say that she has larva in her.
That's
So what does that mean?
another thing. That's another thing. Okay, so
could she still be tridactyl by race?
Now this is going into the realm of hypothetical, because we haven't done a complete rework on this, because we need a lot more scientific study on it. But we are on top of this, that there are larvas, and is it possible that the human bodies were?
I mean, even last week, Todd said
we're harvesting these larvas. Were they eggs? Were we considered like eggs? Were we harvested for their young? That's the question we were talking. Me and Ed Casas, Professor Ed Casas here, we were actually talking about hypothesizing on the idea that human beings might be, or might have been used as incubators for these beings.
And what was Bob Lazar's big quote? The aliens view us as containers.
That's a possibility.
I'm going to go to full screen on this one.
We're opening up the realm of possibilities and beliefs, but someone started this belief 800 years ago, guys. We didn't start the belief. We're not inventing anything.
We didn't
new.
Start the fire.
Yeah, we didn't start the fire.
So, any comments on this? Can you guys see an animal shape here? Or two animals, I should say. Let's put your faces back so we can see you're like scoffing.
I'm so
scoffing or squinting?
Squinting.
Yeah,
well,
I mean,
this is a
every time you bring up a blurry photo, I feel like I'm looking up at clouds.
Well,
okay. Well, let me help then. Let's do that.
Actually, that brings it into scope. Is that, for example, you can look at a cloud and you can see, shapes there. In some cases, I mean, it's almost identical. I've seen bunnies in the sky. Right?
Sure.
And when I was in Peru, it was surprising to me, but the tour guides consistently were showing how.
When were you in Peru?
They could. What was that?
When were you in Peru?
Oh, in November and December.
November and December. So everybody know that he was in Peru in November and December.
Yes. So, going to Machu Picchu, for example, the tour guides were constantly pointing at things they could see in the mountainside. See, that's a puma, or, this is the shape of a snake. But the more that you started looking at it, you could see it. I mean, it almost looked like the earth deliberately made something beautiful that matched nature, right? An animal.
That's also some of the, I don't really get into that also, but these beings could have had the ability to terraform the planet.
How was the trip then?
So I think one of the things we're going to find out is that someone's going to look at a mountain one day and be like, oh shit. And that's going to be ontological shock, because then you're going to realize like, oh, the whole thing is the face. Because what does the myth say? The myths say that they made the mountains from his back and all that sort of stuff, depending on the religion. So I wanted to draw on this though, because you said that it's like a, what did you say? A cloud, right?
Yeah. Part of me does not want to think of some small creature being able to, either be a parasite or or use us in any way. That's it's like science fiction horror, right?
It is. That's part of the thing.
Well, we already have that. That's already happening to us today with medical science.
Who cares?
We have something that's called cancer.
Well, yeah. I mean, is that did they create that as well? So I'm trying to just draw on this here to like show you that this is a sort of a frog-like tadpole-like being. Its 2 feet are still fused. And then here is the remains of the tail. And
okay, see, now that you're drawing it, now I can see it.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
like
people,
a constellation.
When people say, you know, pareidolia, there's this thing called agnosia, where you don't know what you can't recognize. Agnosia, you can't recognize what you're seeing. You know, so
you know how they put crazy people in these mental institutions. Well, they say they see things, but you don't see what they see.
Well, lucky for
I don't see what you're seeing. I have a hard time seeing these things, but then when you start drawing them, I'm like, okay, now I can see what you're seeing. You know, I feel like I'm in an art gallery now.
Thing we could say this is a cloud and this is pareidolia, but I don't work like that. There's 9 bodies, 3 or 4 different parts of the body, and the things are in every part of it.
For this image, Ed, do you have one that shows the slice itself, so we can see maybe how you picked this away from the other?
You know, this
objects?
Was one of the rare ones. And I even had the blue background at the time. It was, I mean, yeah, I have to reopen the program, but basically it was Louisa, and I think I just kept going deeper and deeper until I was isolating her central, like I call it a gonoduct, if it really is, that axial shaft that's protected by the gastralea on one side, the short ribs on the left and the right, and then an armored overlapping spine on the back. This all encloses this one area. And so I kept reducing it, and eventually there was a gray shape, and it was actually on a horizontal plane, and it was tucked under a rib, and it's 1 centimeter. So when people say, oh, the researchers don't see this, well, you have to find a 1 centimeter thing under a rib. You know what I'm saying? It's tiny. Not like I didn't just stumble upon this either. I was looking for things. Let's see what else, because there are some other things.
And how many do you think there are in these bodies?
If you start in a skull, I think you could probably, there might be, 12 to 20 even in the skull. And that's not including tiny, smaller larvae that are only like a 1 millimeter in length, that are likely more translucent than even the other ones.
So there's a possibility there were more than that when they were alive, when the body was still fresh.
So when it was still alive, which is why I suggest like something like Alberto. Now this makes complete sense to me. All the otite capsules, and I think even Maria, has larvae around them. It must be one of the last places for flesh. Nice little nooks and crannies to hide from your brothers who are trying to kill you. And the skulls, yeah. So the skulls seems to be one of the better places. So what I got here on the screen, guys, is I isolated the strange back tailbone. Appears to be 1 solid bone. This is the thing I'm calling a Eurostyle. I'm saying it's one of the amphibian traits. You know, the amphibian traits start with the tridactyly, right? That's the easiest parallel right there. And then there's the illusions of them being cutaneous breathers. And again, I have trouble identifying body parts in Maria. And I'm curious is what people are going to say. Are these bodies just husks and hives? Have the larvae done their damage? Is Maria likely? Maria has to be a cutaneous breather. Let's just put that out there. Maria probably doesn't have lungs. Someone who claimed to be a radiologist, I was like, oh, Maria may be dual uterine, and she's giving birth like some sort of a sand shark. So where her lungs were, she may have 2 uteruses there. So let's just be honest. I think if Maria has no navel and has this Eurostyle, no coccyx, because the coccyx has been absorbed into this one piece. And that was one of the reasons why I wanted to show you The previous picture really was to talk about this part here. This is the tail going right into the butt here.
I can't unsee this now. And now I see the freaking lizard.
It's a polywog. It's like a salad. It's like an axolotl.
Freaking little salamander.
And it's holding another little one who might even be trying to fight back, or it's his last gasp. And note too, the spots, guys. That's accurate, I believe. That's accurate. So, I have a tridactyl model I'm making, but I want to make sure that when I make the model that there are going to be darker green spots on a green body, which is probably why some of the stones, right? There's a huge, in the world, greenstone, jade, all that stuff is a big culture. That I suggested the whole Pacific Rim could be considered one culture. And one anthropologist suggested that the tiki, one of my favorites, right? The little greenstone from the Maori, he suggested that, maybe this was a Buddha cult. This has nothing to do with tridactyls. Maybe he was just trying to identify the Maori's tiki. Maybe it's a Buddha culture that traveled from Southeast Asia. And you know what? He's right. But it is related. So that's our Euro style. I was trying to focus in on that today.
Now,
actually, this is actually just trying to capture some larvae.
I have another theory on the matter with the Peruvian government. And while we're talking about this, I wanted to throw in a few things. The bodies that they focused on was mostly the manipulated ones. But maybe there's some real ones in the mix. That's the question we need to ask. Why would they want to hide the real ones and then spin the story of manipulated human bodies? Because the manipulated human bodies would make more sense to more of their indigenous culture in Peru.
Well, I should share with you that Gonzalo Chavez posted Wawita's hand so everybody could see that, we can see the tridactyls first phalanges, right? We don't usually see ours because it's underneath that skin, which you even suggested, Fat Jesus, that could have been webbed at some time,
Oh, yeah.
But he showed Wawita, which I could pull up for us if I can find it, unless you can find it before me. And just to show everyone purposely, to compare it to Maria, what a grand difference it is between something that's been cut apart. And you know what? Those disingenuous skeptics couldn't even understand what I don't know if they understand. Again, I think these guys have credentials, and if they're getting silly things wrong, then they're disingenuous. Where's that Wawita pic? Got the navel pics. See it. I probably shared it on my screen. So Wawita, I think it's a great thing to have out there. I always said that myself. It's like good to have, almost like
there's some writing on there.
Here we go.
See.
Boom. Check this out, guys.
What does it say?
Well, this is what a manipulated hand looks like. And
I see something on the screen.
Hold on, I gotta replace the screen. Everyone's like, the show sucks.
There we go. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4.
Right.
Little tiny little pinky finger. So this is his strong hand. This is my strong hand.
So that's not Maria, is it? Look at that. There's that whole phalange there. So that's what the skeptics don't tell you. You have to cut all this off. And to cut all that off, you're going to see butcher marks. And not only that, but, one of them, was it Maria or Montserrat? They have an extra phalange. So how did that one get in there? And when I've asked Proctor that months ago, he says, I don't know. They just kind of shoved it in there. Helpful, buddy. Helpful. He literally is like, I don't know. They shoved it in there. I think I screenshotted that. We'll have to show that someday. Credible. Very credible, sir. What were we just talking about? Was I felt like I was trying to show you one thing, and now I show you another thing.
I believe what it is that people are mostly focusing on is the hoax. than they are looking at the overall age of the mummies.
Well, isn't that what the dolls did?
Well,
isn't that what the dolls did?
The Peruvian government is the one that set the stage for the hoax.
And, they did.
And basically what it is, they kept on pulling on that string, and everybody else is going down that avenue. Instead, what they should have done was that these are cultural artifacts, and these are mummies that are really old. And if they would have went down that road, they should have said these dolls are really old, you know, or they could have been replicas of really old mummies. They could have said that as well.
Well, we got a really great question in the chat about the connection between the Ouroboros and the pig dragons.
Yeah, I got a couple different things for that. How you want to? You're going to say something, Todd?
No, I just felt like that was apropos to everything we want to talk about. So let's.
I got a couple of things with that. One, you know, I believe the larvae are throughout the body, and again, part of the problem of finding the larva is they're within bone, they're on top of one another, so there's masses. And also, if you think of amphibian larvae, tadpoles, you know, they've been described as balloons full of water. Okay, so trying to find something that's a balloon full of water is difficult. So I've seen in the ribs, it looks like the larva will find any sort of nook and cranny to crawl into. And yes, I'll have to see if I can find a screenshot. It looks like, especially when they're smaller, either, I don't know if it's something you do when you die or just something you do for protection, that I've seen them together. But then on a grander scale, I'm going to bring the woo in also. It could be that from a central location on planet Earth, which I suggest the Himalayan plateau, humanity and culture spread constantly, wave after wave, from Neanderthals to the
or Turkish
Denisovan, to even into modern times where gunpowder and paper and writing all stem from there. So if we're going to go with this mitochondria X crossing the Atlantic, going into the Great Lakes and going down, and then other populations leaving Asia, heading over, I don't even think, well, yeah, I guess they through boat. I don't know if you guys remember my little thing about the Native Americans may have used boats because their language spread twice as fast as European languages. And then they spread into Oceania and down that way, down into South America. So these two populations leaving the Himalayas could be also part of that myth of the snake meeting its tail. So I gave you one that's a little bit more practical and one that's a little more woo. Hey, we're looking at that Euro style again, you know, trying to get some good shots of that.
What is it? Gobli Teke? What is that place that they uncovered?
Yeah, Göbekli Tepe. Yeah,
they're still discovering stuff over there, so we don't even know the full story over there, and they could have larvas as well.
So sometimes, you know, you got to take the shot and see, is that a larva there? I don't know. You're right, but I do see a couple of possible dark eyes here. I guess I could also, if you ever need me to edit something, I can, like we did with the last one. So that helped when I drew on the picture, yeah? Other close-up. Could be a close-up of a head, not sure. It does seem to have some interesting texture to it. I was trying to zone in on the Euro style again, but I definitely see something here, though. That's the fun thing. You'll catch other stuff anyway. So should I draw on this, Mr. Fat Jesus?
Yes, please.
All right.
Yes, that could be the Grand Canyon. You could tell me that, and I believe it.
Okay. Let's see here. What's that? Leave without saving.
An error. Look at all these.
Oh, I know.
Your beautiful army.
All my drives are full. So,
oh boy.
Let's see this one here. So, you know, how do I find these things? Sometimes it's just a gray mass. Sometimes in this case is still my friend, the cordiform. What is that doing? It's like, I have so much, all my drives are so full that I can't even draw on this photo. I know. I couldn't even open the 3D scanner to show you guys.
Oh boy, do you leave enough space for your drives, or do you have them maxed out?
They're almost maxed out.
Oh Lord, you have to leave a little bit of space.
Probably because I just keep doing all this silly larva stuff, and I'm just like, here's another one. Here's another one. I'm always trying to find the one for the skeptic killers, right?
Yeah, donate to Tridactyl.com, guys. He needs some more drive space.
Let's see. I'm just going to use this blue. Okay, so right here.
Oh, there we go.
And this one's not even a good one. And then even like the things are everywhere. Looks like one of their rostrums here. And let's finish this one. Something like that. But yeah, these aren't even the best pictures. Just this happened.
So basically, they're pushing themselves up into the surface of the body.
Yeah, I find that if the larvae have burrowed to the surface of the bone, that when the scanning camera went around, you may get a large depiction of a face. So
which is pretty much large as a centimeter.
So on this, this is an air setting, and it's supposed to show where there's empty spaces of air as opposed to bone.
Is this the actual body of one?
Yeah, this is Maria, because I'm trying to zone in on that Euro style again, the missing coccyx, right? And I'm still confused about, I guess they just burrow into the vertebra. I don't know if this is actually part of a reproductive system, but I guess that's gonna, look at that. What the hell is that? I don't even know what that is. Just all these weird shapes and things.
You're gonna get anomalies if you're moving.
I've got a question. If we're here and we're talking about like Maria's bottom side.
Yep. That's her spine. Yeah.
And I'm looking at it right now, and it looks like a lot of tissue is missing.
Right.
Now, with that said, if a claim is being made that, you know, this is anomalous or it's missing pieces, I don't believe there's any provenance right now or, you know, chain of custody. So at this point, we don't even know if we're getting everything. There could be parts missing. You know, we already know there's.
Yeah, but even if the coccyx missing, then that still doesn't explain that strange fused bone.
Yeah, so, when it's mummified, they said the scientists that are experts at this, they say any modifications done to the mummy would disintegrate the mummy itself. Anybody that plays around
any glue,
with the mummy,
you mean, and stuff, right?
Or pulls it apart or tries to cut into the mummy.
When we say fused bone, does that require any healing? For example, any natural healing, or is when you say fused bone,
the fused bone? No, I mean, my theory, of course, is going to be different than other people's. It's fused because the tail was resorbed, and there's archaeological evidence of the tridactyls having tails too. In fact, why don't I get that?
I mean, there's even some humans that are born with kind of like a tail.
Yeah, they are.
That's abnormal. I mean, that's fringe, but.
Absolutely.
No. Yeah, you're right. You're correct. And it's because in our DNA, in the chain of DNA, we have those anomalies.
Everybody thinks it's a natural thing. But the way I invert that is, why do humans have a tail sometimes? Yeah, why is that? So
doctors call it a defect, but I mean, why would you call it defect if it's part of the DNA?
Right.
I'm gonna grok it right now, okay?
Oh, why do we have a tail? You're gonna give me the scientific reason, but I'm suggesting we have a tail because of our buddies here.
Well, we have a number of different evolutionary species from the past within our DNA, and not just the chimpanzee or ape.
So check this out. I got several books here. Whoa. Diseño gráfico arcaico. So in this book, in fact, right on the cover, actually, you can see wide-headed, three-fingered beings, which people had suggested those were penises, and I said those are not penises. Those are tails. So we have archaeological precedent for the tails, or we can argue penises, right? And also, by the way, you guys really, this is the book to get for sure. Los Patiti and the Non-Human Remains of Nazca. And then this one, The Message from Nazca by David Velasco, is actually it's actually written a lot better. It's much more enjoyable.
I just picked those up. I got a couple more. Let me go grab one because
yes,
it matches some of the artwork you just showed and gives kind of a table too of where these symbols appear. I'll be right back.
Very nice. Oh, welcome everybody. Thanks for tuning in to Let's Talk Tridactyls. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, insults, I only accept one insult per person. So yeah, Ortobos and the pig dragons, definitely. Here, we got some pig dragons here. It was the pig dragons that cued me in on the fact that these guys were going through a metamorphosis. But doesn't that make sense? If we have all these amphibian traits, another close-up of the Euro style here. Well, at least that's what I suggest it is. This is an inferior view looking up. This is, I believe is that the cloaca? No, I think that's the spine, actually. That's the spine where the spinal... Oh, I don't know what I'm talking about. Shut up, Ed. I forget what this is called. I have a terrible memory, guys. And also math. Don't ever ask me math or numbers. What do we got here? Just more close-ups. I've just been staring at the Euro style all day, looking at the spinal column, and also finding some, of course, maybe some strange. Check out these overlapping.
Oh, I was just reading just right now about the DNA that we have 98% chimpanzee and the other 80% with mice. I guess that's why they test everything with mice in a laboratory.
I think we share DNA with mice. I think
yeah,
probably because we're mammals.
It's called hybridization.
What? We're hybrids with mice? What are you talking about?
Well, human DNA does not contain other animal species in a way that causes birth defects through interspecies hybridization. Rather, humans share a high percentages of homologous genes with many animals. Just to put in more context.
Homogeneous.
Yeah. Yes. I was asking the question to AI about, what did we share? But when they did the DNA with the tridactyls, we came up with more reptile species, not in mixture, right?
Actually, most of the DNA came up unknown.
Unknown?
Yeah. Oh, let's see here. Trevor Ironwolf has got a comment. Oh, let's not forget, we got to do the Tridactyl skull giveaway later. So just zooming in on the butt there, seeing what's in there. Yeah. Okay, so you got some books to share with us?
Yeah. So this book is called The Tridactyl Enigma. It's by Juan Couliger. And it comes in a larger format, right? But he's got all these interesting tables, one of which includes those different figures that you'd find in geoglyphs or, artwork. And then he also gives the Peruvian name for its matching folklore. Goes into detail about
what's the name?
The name of the one you were looking at. That's the T type, right? The one that has kind of like horns coming off.
Yeah, he gave them little nicknames, you mean? I thought you said that what their name was in Peruvian.
Peña Blanca.
Peña Blanca.
Peña Blanca. Yep. And so that would be something I'll go and dig into and see what types of folklore and history. But the Peña Blanca, get this, just in South America, that figure appears in geoglyphs and artwork in Argentina, Chile, Colombia, and Peru.
Yeah. Yep. And all over the world, by the way.
in California and in Utah.
Right. So, I don't even like to bring that up too often, but because I know we have to stick to the science right now. And so sticking to the science is best. If people don't believe that they're physically real, then they're not going to believe that they were found all over the globe, right? But
yeah, like in Asia,
part of my evidence is, forgive me for having archaeological background, is
they are real.
The body's real, but they're real because we have evidence for them being all over the globe. And I know people don't want to put it that way because people don't want to take the art as evidence, right? Because for years, people have been saying what? Oh, it's just a coincidence, or it's, they drew 3 fingers because they didn't want to draw 5 because they were lazy. That was one of the things I've heard. Another close-up of the
now the Peruvian government says they're real,
They have said Maria and Huahuita are authentic, once living beings and are now World Heritage cultural sites. Yeah. What do you think of that bone there, Todd?
Where are we? Okay, so this is down there, and you're asking me what do I think of this bone?
Yeah, what do you think of that bone?
So that's on the inside, isn't it?
No, that's the outside.
Okay, so we're on the outside of the back.
Yeah. There we can.
Yeah, I'm getting there on my end as well. Yeah.
Anybody got any questions, comments out there? We got Todd.
Yeah, look at all the missing.
Thundercat, Fat Jesus.
I can see it
Welcome
a little
to the stream, guys.
Better on my side, just with more detail. But look at all of the missing tissue. Yeah.
Yes.
You see that?
Yes, I have seen that. And what they've said is that it's a cat damage. Some have suggested. So I have some woo for that. Plenty of the goddesses, Inanna, Ishtar, Durga, are depicted as riding a cat. This is how I'm suggesting symbolism may actually work. So whether purposeful or through miscommunication, game of phone tag, the lower half of the goddess has something to do with the cat. So this could be, again, if I were to name Maria, I might give her a cool name like Durga or Ishtar because of that suggested cat damage. See, there's cool ways you can name things if you don't just start naming them first. Like Alberto with that metal hip implant, man, he'd be a perfect Hephaestus. Or Vulcan, huh? Imagine naming him Vulcan. Ooh, that would have been good for the press. Was he the forger for the gods? Let's go look at some more shots here. Yeah, we spent a lot of time on the Euro style today.
And remember, chat, the
heart of that frog.
Chat, we're in the beginning stages of Tridactyls. We're not in the. This is not a thing where it's completely studied on for years and years and years. This is like we're in.
That's right. I could be wrong on a lot of things too, but so far the archaeology has been doing a pretty good job for me. Just again another shot of inferior view, looking up at Maria's bottom end there, looking at this spinal space. Another shot again, looking at that Euro style. That's that whole bone right there. Look at that. How interesting. Now, when you said also eaten, I don't know. Was she eaten from within also down below? Another just shot close up. This is the tip of the Euro style. Look how reflective that is.
Mm-hmm.
Close up of a possible larva face.
Yeah.
Likely close ups here. Again, these are super hard to see. Oh, back to Maria's spine. Okay, there's another shot of that Euro style. Look at how weird. What is that bone? How very strange.
I'm not a.
What's the?
I never
the height
studied
of
this.
this slice?
What is the what?
The height of the slice.
I think this is 3/4 of a millimeter. So I don't know if we can get better images, but that's how I'm pretty sure. Another shot of the Euro style. I'm just trying to isolate it. One long bone. How weird looking, right? Couple of eyes there, guys. So yeah, we showed some cool books today. Oh yeah, I also worked on the Otic capsule of Maria today. Just kind of trying to get some. So right here is not too different from Luisa's and Josefina's, Alberto's ear bone. Obviously, it's much smaller in comparison to the skull. So I think the Otic capsules are going to be super paramount importance.
Is that their teeth?
No, where? Yeah, maybe. Let's say. Yeah, these are the teeth. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Why are they so deformed?
Because I was trying to isolate, really trying to get to this ear bone here, so I wasn't really focused on the teeth. So it depends. That's just, what do they call that? It's smoothing, maybe? Another close-up of the ear capsule. Yeah, I was saying that, there's a difference between even Neanderthal ear capsules and modern man. And so I could see a huge difference between Maria's ear capsule and, say, Josefina's. So I think that's going to be super important. So, when the guys talk about, with the fingers are cut off, we see the fingers they just keep talking about the fingers being cut off. It is like so low branch science. It's like, we've got this spinal backbone here. I got what I see larva. We got these Otic ear capsules that might imply something between frog and cetacean whales, quite possibly.
So
again, for you Star Trek fans.
Let's talk about the comparison of this Otic capsule with what is found in modern humans. Do we have the same Otic capsule? Or
no, this one is more encased than ours. It's more, let's see another picture. Maybe this helps. That's more encased and more robust than a human's. Humans are more subtle. Now, I don't know the fine details. I do see some gentleman who just joined the Xeno team recently. That he happens to be an expert in ears. So I don't know if he's this is something he could help out with. But from my cursory viewpoint, these appear to be larger and more robust, which again would make sense if this is an intermediary between humans and Josefina Luisa. Here we got a comment coming in. Did all tridactyl mummies have some sign of larva? In my experience, yes. Keep in mind, this is not shared or collaborated by anyone from tridactyls.org or the alien-project.com. I do that to absolve them from guilt. But by absolving them from guilt, when we get a better scan, we find the larva, remember me. So
yeah, it's Professor Ed Casas is the one that discovered the larvas within the bodies of these mummies, and it's not just one mummy. It's pretty much all. Most of these mummies have some kind of embodiment of.
So even Wawita, the faux dactyl, not right. Actually, she does have right. We did see 4 phalanges, didn't we, just a few minutes ago? The faux tridactyl, even that body, which I can't even pull up my own. Do you have Wawita handy? I can't pull up my own scans. Even Wawita, in my experience, I believe has, yes, the larva in them. And again, I'm reminded of what Bob Lazar said, the aliens see us as containers. Now, of course, the problem with ontological shock and what people say, what is the big thing that let me ask you two guys. I'm not even going to put the answer out into the universe. Let's ask Todd and Fat Jesus. What do people say as sort of like, what's going to be a bad thing that happens with disclosure when it's truly happens? What are some of the things?
This was just published in the London Times. Is that banks have to consider the impact from alien disclosure?
And what are some of the other concerns, Fat Jesus, that people have about disclosure? What are usually like the given reasons?
I think I mean, are you talking about like the public
Yeah.
or
What is
government
one of the things that
institutions?
people say, like, are fearful of what's going to happen if there's disclosure with the public?
I think the public is open to that.
Not
I
your
mean,
opinion. What do people say is like
no,
going
no,
to
no. I
happen?
mean, no. This is from Reddit. This is from
Oh, okay.
everywhere that I read. People are wanting to believe that tridactyls are real. This is the biggest thing
They
on
want
the
to believe.
planet. Yeah, they want to believe that there's a three-finger,
Then what's the
three-toe
problem?
being on the planet. You know,
Why are we having such trouble with this then?
I think it's money and power. Those are the two things I can immediately think of. It would destabilize.
Oh yeah, imagine this. Okay, here you go. I got one for you, conspiracy theorists, right? Why let the public know we have the cure for cancer? Because it's already in one of these bodies because they're a Genesis taxon. Dun, dun, dun. What if I could tell you, hey, don't worry about losing that limb. You can regrow it yourself. Thanks to Tridactyls.
how about giants?
I think we're with the freaking giants. Look at the size
that's
of Josephina.
Yeah, that could
Now
be
put
a
a big
possibility.
Swede or Swahili gentleman there next to that.
What if every story is about us? You know, maybe we're the
I
giants
think every
throughout all of
story.
history.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think our history is ours. It might be just theirs, which I guess they're us.
Possibly,
we're them. It's all the
possibly.
same.
We
Another shot of
usually
Oat's
we
capsule.
usually see ourselves as the underdog and the small one in every story, but maybe we're the bad guy.
Well, we got Jared Rosenthal coming in. Team Xeno. Yeah, we could be the new X-Men until we get a woman. That's when I started. We're going backwards in time, so that's the start of my hunt for the Oat's capsule.
I think
let's look at Luisa's from here.
What they will dig up in Turkey, I think we'll get more answers.
Well, the answer I was seeking from you is that people usually say that with disclosure, there will be religious upheaval, and they suggest that religion.
Oh, you want me to harp on the religious community?
I don't want you to harp. I just want you to give the phobias about why we, if I was a general, we can't give disclosure because there'll be mass hysteria and religion will fall to the side where people will lose their morals.
I didn't mention it because I mentioned it in the other streams, and I forget that every stream should be like a brand new stream, and I should re-mention the that these religious communities have a lot to lose if such a concept ever existed. Like history would be rewritten. If somebody discovered three-toe, three fingers.
Some people suggest that media, right? Academia, not media. Academia that's part of their hang-up. So perhaps that is it. We have a lot of societal hoops to jump through.
Let me ask you a question.
Oh, kiddo.
Easter Island. The giants on Easter Island. Who created those and for what fear? I mean, did they build them to rain fear into people?
Well, don't they face west? So it looks like, don't come any closer. And if you look at those statues from a distance when they have the top stones on their head, well, they now have giant wide heads from a distance. So part of my theory is, New Zealand was one of the last islands to be.
But Easter Island's so far away from everything. I've looked at
not
the
from
island
Peru. It's
so
not.
many times. No, I know, but who in their right mind is gonna be on a boat in the largest waves in the world to be out there? That's my question, and especially back then. You know how those are 100 feet waves, guys.
Well, did you ever see the? I share the what's on the bow of the boats, big flat wooden ancestor heads, which with looks like big eyes. So again, just another clue.
I mean, I would like to know where these boats are that travel those immense seas.
Yeah, well, look to the
Inca
Polynesians.
civilization.
The Polynesians still have those long boats.
Yeah, but Inca civilization.
Oh well, they may have had some. Yeah, they may have had some completely different, more advanced craft.
I would like to see these boats, because today we can't navigate those seas unless we have a freaking what is it, a 70 footer? We have to have like a 70 footer to navigate long distances. You know, I mean, I was looking up yachts, and I'm actually I actually am invested in this YouTuber with his sailing abilities, and he had to get rid of his old boat because it was way too small. It's pretty much, he called it a dinghy, because he made it to Honolulu, and he said, man, that boat, I almost died out there just traveling from California to Hawaii.
Thor Heyerdahl, is that his name? Is that how you pronounce it? He did the sea journey on a handcrafted boat, did he not? Hey, check this out. Here's a close-up of an Otic capsule, Louisa, side view, and what I suggest is...
Oh, wow, look at the face, yeah.
Oh, you can see that one. Oh, wow, yeah, look at the face. See, I'm so used to you saying, like, I don't see it. I don't see it. Hey, man,
no, that one's pretty
I say
clear.
Believing is seeing. I think that has to be part of it. It sounds silly. So just pulling up some more Otic capsule stuff. Like, so for example...
I just wanted to jump back real quick on Easter Island and Tridactyls.
Yeah.
Who creates such monstrosities, and to do what type of... I mean, are they doing it out of fear or out of revelation or reverence? Maybe they're worshiping, or they want something to come by and say, oh my God, thank you for worshiping us. You know, I you know, something tells me that whoever created three finger, three toe Tridactyls wanted to revere the image of what they saw or what they worship. That's why I just wanted to bring up in a religious context, and that would disrupt the religious community because it's not included in their religious texts. That would
check out this from Armenia. Tridactyl-like head with the triangular rostrum. Keep in mind too that again in the scans, when I see the larva, the rostrum, the triangular rostrum, which I used to call the isosceles, mandible, or what's it, maxilla, whatever it is, upper jaw. But really, it's a beak. It's a rostrum.
That is amazing. Is he pulling his head off? The head is coming right off. It's like the ant people.
But note that this doesn't look like is the lost connection. It says.
Yeah. No, you stop talking for a second.
Maybe it's not pulling off the head. Maybe it's whether.
Can you go back? Can you go back to it?
Check this out. This is part of the same culture.
Can you go back to that one stone with the head pulling off of the body?
Mm-hmm. This is called a dragon stone. Dragon stone. Remember I told you guys that I call these things dragons? People are like, what are you talking about? They're dragons.
And somebody's holding the head. Look, the hands on the side. Or something is holding the head. Maybe a machine. Maybe it's I don't know. I mean, I have a hypothesis on and this is beyond the norms of what we're talking about here on extraterrestrials and cloning and all that stuff. This is beyond this. Is that they pull the heads off of the body and then they regrow the body and then they put the head back on. That's my crazy hypothesis. And here we have a stone with the head coming off the body. And
you're saying they regrow their heads.
No, they regrow the bodies. Like
that makes sense.
Heads right off.
It's funny. I've actually thought something similar. How many myths are there about heads that still continue to talk and whatnot?
It's just insane. I don't know. So I mean, I'm just dumbfounded.
Could you tuck in your organs from your body that you need? I mean, I do suggest. What have I also said, guys? I've said that they have invertebrate parallels, and there's that skull-body connection that could be something not just the animals we're used to, something more akin to an invertebrate. But I think that needs more research for that. Otherwise, just
A lot more
speculation.
research. Yeah. Gosh, I wish I could see more
So,
of this.
as a reminder too, here's Alberto's ear bone, but you can almost see where it was. That's where it was. That's where it is on a healthy tridactyl. In Alberto, it's up here, and what you're looking at is the interior ear. That is the auditory canals, guys. Isn't that wild to look at? Now, I thought maybe his other ear bone was in there, but I think he lost his right one also. So if you saw the face on Luisa's ear bone, right? You said you did, right? That makes sense. And maybe you guys know my overall theory is larva management hypothesis, which is the diatomaceous earth, the cadmium chloride, the implants are there because of this larva management. And so they kept these things alive, I suggest. They may have been proactive with the chest implants. That may have been a proactive thing. I saw a video recently with even Zalce Benitez. Now, I don't know if it was an old video or maybe he's just piggybacking on what I said even, that if the furcula, that fused clavicle is broken and the implants there, well, again, if this is a four-limb first creature with front arms longer than the back, right? Front arms are longer than the back with the tridactyls. I don't know about Maria, at least the little ones. If you were to have your furcula break, I mean, that is, it's like a horse with only the back legs working. So they may have wanted to be proactive with those implants, keeping things together. And, someone said, well, it's just Josephina with the broken implant, or was it Artemis? But Luisa too. Luisa, Joseph. In fact, I wouldn't doubt all of them because those larvae can get in those places. I would like to pull up my scans again. Did you have any questions about
what I would like to do is have an actual real human MRI scan and have you look for larvas in them.
Why? Why would I want? Why would I? That's like having to address
compare.
That's like having to address the. What you think I'm going to find something like that?
Maybe.
Do you see that? That guys, that's like an ET worm head coming out of a hole.
Maybe. I want to see if you see the same clouds.
I don't understand how that would even work. Are you expecting me to look into a human body and find tadpoles?
Maybe.
And so you would have, of course, you would have to have some sort of what's the term? A constant. So you, I guess, would have to have a body that has larvae in it. No, you would know, but I wouldn't.
It's called an experiment. It's called an experiment. It's like knocking it out. It's like, here's a human body, and here's a tridactyl body.
I think that might just prove I was nuts. I don't know if it would prove like any of this crazy imagery, though.
Yeah, images are coming to mind of like a lemonade-like stand outside on the street and inside. Give 50 cents to $1. He'll scan your body for.
And we got Spock here
again. I want to ask you. Yeah, I saw that. I mean, if this larva thing isn't happening, then what are we looking at here? This is the interior of Luisa's skull and the reverse side of Sebastian's implant. What's happening there? Right? I feel like I'm just going through random pictures, I think what I want. I just realized that. I just got into like random pictures. Hey, let's look at this. I feel like Joe Rogan. Pull it up, Jamie.
I'm mostly interested in what artifacts that they have that were buried with them.
Oh, we got pictures of those.
And the most important thing is their language, Did they have a language? Did they have?
I don't know if that's the most important thing.
Yeah, I mean, we have their bodies, but were they a separate entity of themselves besides the Inca civilization?
Yeah.
And did they have their own language? Did they have technology? Were they just a bunch of animals?
I was thinking that perhaps it was Peru that was actually the real tuber basket of the world. right? We say that a lot of tubers come from.
They claim it.
Yeah,
they claim it. I'm from Idaho, which is the potato state here in the U.S., right? But Peru, it claims the right to the birthplace and the cultivation of tubers and potatoes. They have over 800 different species.
So here's one of these things that I like to look at. People say, what do you look for in how do you prove a world civilization? If all the tubers actually came from South America, and this was maybe this was even the Hanging Gardens. How do you like that? The Hanging Gardens of Babylon. Maybe those are the real.
Africa and South America were once together as one continent. So,
yeah, that's true. And so, it is suggested that these tubers could have, I suppose, gotten around naturally. But I think what a great way to perhaps reinvestigate the tuber is to look at it as a chain of possible civilization drop points. What a great thing, too, to leave for, let's say you had a primate herd, if you will, and you wanted to herd these primates throughout the planet, and you wanted them to have food. So everyone talks about the breadbasket of the Levant and all of that, but really, New Guinea and other places of the world had tubers for thousands of years before that. So imagine that, seeding the world with tuber plants, teaching the humans how to eat them, how to cook them. And that could be an interesting start to civilization.
Yeah. And I hate to get off subject, talking about Atlantis. Remember, we were talking about.
I like Atlantis. I think Atlantis is official topic. Atlantis, Loch Ness Monster, Bigfoot, throw it in. Everything's on the table again.
When we were just talking about Africa and South America connecting, that was proven, by Darwin, right? He went to both continents and he connected the two of them by the species that were living on each continent.
Well, what's interesting about that, though? Like jaguars got to South America after the division.
So here's the thing.
New World monkeys got to South America after the continents divided.
That's wild. So here's the thing about Atlantis.
How did that happen?
But they say Atlantis.
They give a silly little answer. They'll say, tree islands, floating tree islands is how everything got over there. What do you guys think of this image here?
They say that Atlantis is in the Atlantic Ocean, but yet the continent's separated from the Atlantic Trench, which pushed the continents away from each other, which is seafloor spreading. More seafloor is being created every day in the Atlantic Trench.
I only have 2 likes on this. How sad. This, I suggest, is a close-up, one of the more hyper-realistic ones, of a tridactyl face, early development, so he doesn't have much of a lower jaw. I do think that is a possible proto-limb. So I don't know if you can see here, we have a supraorbital arch, dark eye, bestial nose. I don't know why you can't see the whole thing over there. That's unknown. I think it has to do with this. Let's try it. There we go. Ooh, what do you think? Yay, nay?
I don't. I Play-Doh.
We see it or we don't see it?
I see it kind of looks like a slug.
Right, it kind of looks like a slug.
That's what I was thinking.
3 fingers on the face.
I want to say it's kind of robust. It makes you, I guess when I look at these, it makes me think, let's imagine the little tridactyls, but robust and full of water weight. What would they look like then? So yeah, I suggest this is a close-up, real close-up of a larva face. And again, I suggest those spots are part of the lore. I always say with human mythology, it's never about the animal. It's about how they resemble the ancestors. So yeah, we're just going through random pics right now and just, this was a good thing. After they came up with that talk of the bones being manipulated, and them using awful imagery, right? Oh, that was the other thing, right? They didn't even bother to change the intensity. And Jeremy asked him straight up, well, isn't that because the intensity is different? And Proctor's like, oh, it's a bad image anyway, or some crap.
Well,
what? Yeah.
Ed, the skin is the most important organ in my opinion, observing this thing. But to say that the fingers or the toes were constructions, I'm trying to wrap my head around the logic there, because
that's just it.
They're covered in skin. They have fingernails. They have fingerprints, and then the people that are closest to this have gone in with measurement devices, magnifying CT scans, X-rays. There doesn't seem to appear any incision marks that would be needed to craft these.
Right.
Long.
They've said that ad nauseum, that there is no evidence of manipulation and surgery. And I always suggest that one of the best witnesses in all this was the plastic surgeon. I mean, if anybody's going to catch some fine detail, can you imagine? Oh, Maria had a little work done. You know?
Yeah. So
Maria had Angelina Jolie lips at one time. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah. The only naysayer I would say that has been having a compelling argument to me was the Steve Mera stuff. But even then, he got upset and frustrated.
Can you go ahead? Okay. What was his argument then?
So he genuinely was like looking into some of the smaller ones, right? But he got to a point where he apparently just had enough looking at the data, and it was just enough for him to come up with kind of a gut decision that to him these things were hoaxes. And then he really made an emphasis that to him, upon observation, he's like a journalist, right? That the skin was like dog skin. It was dog skin, and you could just tell just by looking at it.
So scientific.
Wait, what's his background?
Right.
The journalist.
Oh, he's a journalist, and the journalist said he could just tell it was dog skin?
He could tell it was dog skin, and there were like hairs on it, and that's why it looked the way that it did. And I could pull up his clip, but he got to the point where he just doesn't even want to talk about tridactyls anymore.
Huh.
So I thought that was interesting. And again, it was somebody who has really kind of dug into some details that they were interested in, tried hard, and got frustrated and then left.
Oh, that's your interpretation.
I think they doubted tridactyls from the beginning, and the more they dug into it, they found more truth to it, so they got more into it. And then at the end, they finally found.
What? You're coming in and out.
So they just believed it from the beginning.
Your mic sucks.
What, me?
Yeah.
Mine?
Yep. You were popping in.
Now it sounds great. It sounds great. It's when you were leaning back. It just.
Okay.
Canceled out.
So I believe that people have a disbelief of something when they see it because due to religious beliefs of their own. And then when they attack the institution of what they're looking at, and then they go, okay, and then they can't prove it. And then they go, wow. And then they start diving into it more and more. And you know how they say the enemy of my enemy is my friend, or whatever they say, so they just keep going deeper and deeper into it so they can find more and more so they can disprove it.
Yeah.
And they seem to look like experts, and they're not. They're just trying to find some kind of excuse so that they can show that it's not real.
Yeah. At some point, unless it's published, it's like on par with the current scientific and scientific studies, reports, lab results at that level, then everything else is just performance or commentary, right? So if for example, there is something substantive from the other side that can negate or do a counterclaim, then it needs to be published at the same level that the rest is. And that's how we have scientific discovery. But to just say that you looked at an image and then you came up with a conclusion, and now everybody else should just agree with you. I think that's not how the game is played.
I think the one guy that did publish that died, rest in peace. I forgot his name, but it's the dentist.
Edgar Huacar Hernandez.
Yeah, and he died from a car accident, and now everybody's gonna ask, oh, that sounds kind of ominous. So, but you know, their police agency is just is a small agency. So I don't know how good.
Well, you see, here's my problem with all of this talk. You guys are giving these people the benefit of the doubt, and it seems to me that they're being blatantly disingenuous. In fact, what I did this week was I took their interview, their video, Incredulous History and the Willful Skeptics. I took that video and Jeremy Corbell and Knapp's interview, and I ran it through the AI, and I said, AI, tell me how many times ad hominem attacks were used. AI, tell me how many times emotional pleas were used. And I had them break down the video, because it's time-stamped as well, into percentages. And do you know that for a fraction of the time they did talk about, they felt it was necessary to give us some human anatomy. I really didn't think that was that necessarily at all. That's also felt like a distraction. Hey, look, I know about this stuff, right? I'm real good about this stuff. And then a small percentage was spoken of legitimately, not in error, of the Tridactyls. It was like 14%. But then it was like 10% ad hominem, 25% pleas of emotion. So I had an instinct that they were disingenuous, and I kept hearing things in my back of my subconscious. And then what's the beauty of AI now? You can take your instinct, your inferences, and send it through the AI and demonstratively prove that both of those videos were disingenuous. So I do not give them the benefit of the doubt. This is not, if it was, you know, like the cartoon that was shared recently, it paints them as the actual researchers, and that we're the Johnny-come-latelys. These guys in the Latin America have been doing this for 10 years. I've been working on this for 3 full time. Yeah. I don't even know if the guys in Latin America were working full time on it, right? So
and Professor Ed Casa wasn't a believer in Tridactyls.
I wasn't a believer. I thought they were fake. And the other beauty about myself, to toot my own horn, honk honk, is that I am a former archaeologist, paleontological technician, and museum educator. So I like to think I have a wee bit of correctability here, a wee bit. So we're doing the right thing. I'm doing the right thing by putting that out there, that these guys are disingenuous. It is not, if it was real science, they would be attacking each point and they would be sticking to that point. And I demonstrated that it was actually, if you look at the percentages of a lying politician, right? These guys' videos were less genuine than a lying politician.
What I wanted to bring up was when he published scientifically, just himself publishing, that's when the shit hit the fan. That's when everybody started putting out hoax videos, and everybody wanted to jump on the bandwagon. Things started getting hectic, but if he didn't publish scientifically about Tridactyls, I think people would have left it alone.
That's the problem with actually the credibility of the whole experience, the whole phenomenon at this point, because even the published reports people have suggested were in predatory journals. I mean, I even took a chance. I knew my paper was not up to scientific snuff. My paper was like a social studies college paper, but I wanted to still put all my thoughts together. I do have something on ResearchGate. Again, I just wanted to make sure that I put my thoughts together and put it out there into the universe, which you can go to tridactyls.com. But I did attempt to get into a legit journal, Nature, and of course, they didn't accept it because it's just my paper wasn't of that caliber. Yeah. But at least again, my job.
Oh,
was
you need the strength. You need the backing of a university before you can.
That's the other thing. It's funny you say that, because even ResearchGate is like, what university are you with? Hey, by the way, I didn't ask you, Fat Jesus. Can you see this one? Let's see.
What is the 3 dots on the dice?
That's what it looks like.
I've been looking at it. I think it's a puppy dog. I think it's my dog. Yeah, he looks so cute.
Yeah, well, this is.
Did you take a picture of your?
This is what I suggest. I know. This is what they look like, right? They're. So those in the audience that can't see, let's see if we can.
So we need to put your Chihuahua up, a picture of your Chihuahua next to this picture, and see if we could compare. Maybe your Chihuahua is a tridactyl larva. The nose.
We'll just improvise a couple of noses here, a couple of nose parts.
Now we're having fun. Now we're having fun.
Well, this is like people. I actually don't typically do this, to be honest. I don't.
Okay, so now I see.
I don't typically do the drawing.
I think you should. I think it elevates the art form.
How is this not the story?
I think it makes me look more unhinged, to be honest.
How is this not the story of the ant people? Like
it is the story of the ant people.
It keeps going back. I mean, oh my gosh! I talked to the people in the event that are indigenous, and they talk about ant people, and it just hits home so much. Every single time I look at those faces, it reminds me of the story of the ant people from the indigenous Americans here in America.
And when people say about what is the saying when the Native Americans came to the New World, but a lot of the tribes don't say that, do they? What do they say? They say we emerged from the earth after the ant people helped us.
Emerged from the earth.
That's another myth.
I think I've heard Graham Hancock. I don't want to put words in his mouth, but I swear it was Graham Hancock talking about that myth, and that it was how humanity survived one of the last
cataclysms, right?
Cataclysms is that they brought us underground with them.
Yeah.
And then when it was safe, we reemerged.
Yeah.
But that it sounds far-fetched, but there are a lot of tunnel systems.
Let me tell you guys that if there's actual technology, and this is hypothetical because we don't know and we don't have the technology, but if there's an advanced civilization that has the power to manipulate time and space, they would not take us underground in a cataclysmic event. Instead, they would take us into a multi-universe, like a universe that sits next to our universe, and just put us there. That's what
you just went to a different universe. What is this, Marvel Comics?
No, this is what they talk
about different universe. Yeah. I suggest that it may appear that they were brought underground, but humanity probably emerged from underground, where we were.
They talk about different realities in France when they do the Atom Smasher. When they atom smash and they created they didn't create a black hole, but they did they peered into it and they said, look, there's multiple realities. They're not just the realities that we understand. We have touch, feel, see, hearing. Those are realities, but then it goes beyond that. And then they started seeing other realities, and they're studying that, and they're creating the math of that.
I think that's, it's more valid, I think, than universes and realities is the myth of the ancients. And evidence of man living in caves. So I've heard people say that living in a cave might not even be the best thing. I've heard that.
Are you going to survive in a great flood inside a cave underneath the ground?
I've thought of that also. But
would suffocate, even if you lived How much
But you heard
oxygen
what
will you
Todd said.
have?
It wasn't just the floods, though. There was other theories, right? There's other theories, scorched earth policies. You know, how about all the people that believe in the plasma stuff? So we got a question here. Can you tell if they had claws or fingernails? I would say Maria definitely has fingernails. But now I'm thinking,
they have fingernails.
do the little ones have claws or fingernails? I would say they probably have claws.
Fingernail. Well,
the little ones, are they fingernails? I don't know. That's a good question.
They're fingernails, from what I saw. I mean, I watched
on Josephina and all of them.
Inkari, yeah, the Inkari Institute.
Perfect.
Well, why don't we just pull one up and take a look?
Because I can't get my 3D scanner open unless I turn off stuff.
Here's the kicker.
It glitched. I got too many things open.
Do they even have fingernails? That's the question.
Yeah.
That's the question we need to ask. Is, do they even grow fingernails?
I bet that
he just asked if. Wait. The guy in the chat just asked if they had fingernails, and Todd and I just said, yeah, they have fingernails.
Well, I mean, we're going over the thought.
This isn't hypothetical. This is what we see, what we witness. In fact, Todd specifically said, "All right, I got my program back open. Who do you want to look at? Josephina, Luisa, Alberto,
something
Victoria?
With fingernails."
Yeah, let's take a look at those dedinos.
Let's get the audience then to answer. How about that? If somebody in the chat, Carl. We'll let Carl choose. Carl, what specimen would you like to see? I got my.
Oh, and while you're at it, Ed, can you demonstrate the?
I'll go through the whole process. How about?
Well, my name is Carl. How about the segmentation tool and being able to?
Don't know that yet.
You don't know that yet?
Okay. No. I was going to watch a video today, but I ended up watching Star Trek.
Yeah, I want to set up my project so I can just eliminate the bed out of there.
Oh,
there we go.
Yeah. I got you. And then just save it permanently like that, right?
Yep.
Yeah. It's funny because I was thinking to myself, God, I hope Todd learns that so he can tell me how he does. What are we looking up now? Did we ever get an answer?
Yeah, we were going to look up like Josephina.
I was seeing somebody from the chat, Carl, or anybody in the chat. Tell us who you want to see.
Hey,
I'll set up my
finger.
I got to put my
Get a middle finger or something. People would love to see that.
Albert, Artemis, Josephina,
there you go.
Lisa.
There's the Python script I have to add to it. So I can do that. All right, go ahead, Fat Jesus. Give us your best ancient aliens, chariots of the gods theory of your own.
Chariots of the gods.
Yeah. Rest in peace.
Oh, you want? Okay, so one of the hypotheses that my father and Rick von Daniken was working on was that Atlantis was not on Earth but in space, between Jupiter and Mars.
Wow.
The asteroid field that was weird. Once a planet was destroyed by and the Babylonians talked about a mythology of Marduk and Tiamat. So they related and this is from Zachary Stitchin, also from the 10th planet, and they taled about Zachary Stitchin. He really
Josephina, it is Carl.
They talk.
I hope your head's okay, Carl. If it's a little mushy, let me know and get you another one.
That came up, and the mythology of the Babylonians came up, and in Atlantis, instead of a great vast ocean can also mean vast space. But humans don't travel in space, so they travel on the ocean or on water. So they don't know anything about space, and so the translation, we can be lost in translation if we don't travel in space. So we don't even understand it. So the possibility of Atlantis being on a separate planet altogether, being destroyed completely, and then all the inhabitants moving from that planet to Earth, that could be a whole different story, and that's millions and millions of years ago. That the story is so old that's how we became how we became here.
No, there might have been a migration to from Mars. Can everybody see the screen, especially
Oh
Todd
no,
there?
Mars is actually two split planets. So Mars and Earth are split from from one moon, pretty much. That was around that planet.
Mm-hmm.
That was so long ago.
Okay, so up here, of course, this little eyeball. How did I get to there? That pin. So I will go to the eyeball to take off the cube and have the black background. Although it's also fun to put the little human up. That'll help you to, let me move the screen over a bit.
You want me to finish the story?
Oh, there's still more?
Yeah. So this happened so long ago. This was in preparation of the 10th planet, which is a artificial planet that comes from another solar system. So for it to come into our solar system, it had to eliminate the one planet so that it can do its revolution to come back into that orbit every so many thousands of years. So then it set up that, it set up Earth and Mars after it destroyed that, which now is an asteroid field. That's the hypothetical mythology behind it.
We got
they call it Marduk. They call it Marduk. Marduk destroyed Tiamat. That's what the mythology was.
Looks like we're about ready to send Josephina to Jabba the Hutt. So over here on the left is the display Roy, right? You want to cut all that box and everything off that Todd just talking about, right?
Yep, I got that far. Now this one was easy to do because there were pillows and they didn't show up in the scan.
I see.
So, but when you're trying to do this with Maria, for instance.
Oh, and it's hard to get the sagittal planes even and everything because all their heads are bent and stuff, depending, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, the little ones actually are way more organized in that regard.
Let's take a look at the tips of the fingers.
Tips of the fingers. I wonder if we should switch. We should get off the soft tissue then for something like that. Let's try this here CT bone. And, you might want to reduce things even when you're just talking about one specific piece of morphology, just to help out, right? At least that's what they suggest too on the program.
It's like fingernails.
Yeah, let's zoom in. And we could also maybe look at that. That looks like
yeah, they're fingernails. Look, the one right there on the pinky.
Let's play with the
no, you got to turn
shift.
You need to turn it upward.
Let's play with the shift and see if we can. I wonder if too, would X-ray help on something like this?
No, fingernails don't show up on X-ray, don't they?
Uh-oh. This is what stopped me last time. I hit some button that I wasn't supposed to. I don't even understand what I did. Shit. That sucks. Weird how that happens like that. I have no, I can't get to the controls for some reason. I hit some random, was it just this? Yeah, that sucks. So anyway, we're looking at I can't even change the setting. We can go look at it on one of these and see if that helps. One of the actual proper not really, huh?
Are they all like this where you can't see anything?
Well, no, each one, it's just, I don't know if these scans are very good for what our purposes are. Let's see if this might help. Right? I mean, it looks like fingernails, right? Still. We can go back to the 3D. Oh, maybe it did change. Oh, that's nice of them. They brought it back for me. All right, cool. What we're going to do, CT bone, you think? This one? You like this one? Look at that.
Yeah, that's got good contrast. That looks like fingernails, especially on the outside digits.
Let's let's focus on one hand, and that way we get rid of the legs, right? And you can bring you also want to keep that box, that Roy box, small. Sometimes you don't grab the little dot, and it gets frustrating. Welcome to Let's Talk Tridactyls.
Well, they definitely didn't bite their fingernails like humans do. They don't eat their fingernails.
I wonder how what soft tissue setting would look like, because when I bring down, if it'll just take off a layer there.
You know what that means. They're not nervous beings.
Because they don't chew their fingernails?
They don't chew on their fingernails.
Of course, I usually do the soft tissue because I want to catch larval forms, right? Like, what is this guy up here? Maybe nothing. What else?
And Ed, I sent you a picture. What is that? Like at least a week or so ago of the Josephina and Al, but they don't have any diatomaceous earth, right? So you can just see what their skin looks like, and it's
and they look great,
dark, and I'm not seeing any incision markings.
Still, right? Yeah.
Still, and so a lot of the complaints were that these specimens have so much diatomaceous earth, you can't really.
Yeah, that's of course that is just a complaint. It's like, again, that's another low limb, low branch complaint, man. You know what I mean? I mean, when I hear these complaints, I can't help but think of myself working at a restaurant as a waiter. That's what it reminds me of.
I mean,
my soup doesn't have any crackers.
But in Egyptology, I mean, there were some of these mummies that they didn't want to even open up the sarcophagus because it may damage the mummy. So they leave them sealed, and then they'd scan the whole sarcophagus looking for the inside mummy.
Oh, my.
Right?
Let's go to some flesh. Flesh for fantasy.
So comparing sarcophagi to diatomaceous earth, I think that it just adds an additional challenge, but that's why we have these tools.
Right. Yeah, it's just a complaint. It's just people just love to complain. I don't know. They'll complain about everything. The weird things that people come and say to me, it's like, well, go do whatever you do then. I don't know. If that's the other weird thing, just the hostility that comes to this. Like, I think people feel like they're getting scammed, maybe. Because they always use the term like grift and scam and all this other weird stuff. I'm like, who's making money off of this? I guess the Waqueros are. Waqueros are, but the rest of us aren't. Look at that. What else? How else could we look at these, though?
Yeah, and also the teams are so sincere. So the Ikari Institute,
you have the experience,
Gonzaga, and meeting them, they're absolutely sincere. Joyce Mantilla was just super sweet, but you could tell how much pressure and scrutiny he was under, and getting teary-eyed even talking about it.
Right.
He considers this the most important story of his life.
Yeah. Well,
were you able to go to Ica?
Yeah.
And so how much did you spend on that whole trip? Can I ask you that?
But that was just one day of the trip in Ica.
You only did 1 day trip, or
no? I did it. I did a 2 week. I did a 2 week tour with Gaia.
Okay, so
really great.
So from your experience, for everybody that's in the chat, if they want to go to Peru for this summer, because summer is coming, is 2 weeks enough?
So summer, they're already in summer because November.
No.
November was like the spring.
Americans have coming up. Yeah. So
remember, it's the southern hemisphere, so things are backward. It's just backwards there.
The toilet bowl, they flush differently down there.
It does, yeah.
But I mean, because Americans in North America, they have their 3-month vacation coming up in June. And they got their kids and everything, and they want to make the trip, and they want to go to
break
Peru.
Before that.
Yeah, so their trip, this is what people do, and this is what my father did with me. We went to Mexico, we went to Yucatan Peninsula, we went to Peru. So how long do you think is too long, or how short is too short
Oh, well,
to
there's
experience?
no general question like that. It depends on the people traveling. I saw parents with kids, and they were just doing it themselves. They made up their own trip. They put together. I mean, they even rented a car. They were brave enough to drive around on those roads.
Wow.
But they got it done. They had a great time, and they were like camping even.
So I like this setting.
My question is, would it have been cheaper if you didn't pay through Gaia, if you would have went on your own?
Oh, of
Now
course.
that you know what you know.
Of course, but being with all of the Gaians, the other travelers,
Oh, the
and
experience.
the
Okay.
experience, and plus, I wanted to travel a little bit more safely, but also have a consistent, what is it? A consistent level of comfort.
So check out this setting. This is a maximum setting, MIP. It's kind of like the soft tissue setting, but it just immediately makes everything soft tissue. I don't have to go through layers. So it's interesting when you look at the bones, you can see how the bones have been compromised. And all this gray stuff is all soft tissue. What I suggest are all larvae. And again, what are you looking for? Paired black eyes and reflective rostrum beaks. And it's funny too. They look at this thing here. What is going on here?
You said something about eyes. Are their eyes big?
Yeah. Right here, he may have two eyes. One here, one here. I don't know. Are those smaller larvae? So let's see what happens when we hit our fit to volume button, which, I'm not showing the screen. Am I the full screen? You probably can't see it. Let me just show a full screen real quick so we can see the button.
Did anybody that's an
fit to volume
in eyes, did they do a preliminary on their eyes to see if, I mean, I know their eyes.
Todd just measured Maria last week. What did you come up with, Todd? Team Xeno.
So I have to get more slices for accuracy, but Maria's
That's the other thing we have to learn, how to get all the slices.
Yep, and so I'm working on that.
I better do some YouTube videos, but yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. You might learn it before me. So
well, I think that it's even possible once I have the project set up that I could export the data to a 3D model and then print it.
Yep, you can start making these, man. For real.
Yeah, maybe I can even print slices that I like.
So check out how this looks when you put it on this maximum setting, how it reveals all of this strange, looks like compromised bone. And
we're looking at this, and it reminds me of that post you just did. I think it was today. Was it a repost or your post? But it was about comparing this figure to what was found in Russia.
Right. That wasn't me, no, but yeah, I've seen that comparison.
Yeah, and the alien body photos from Russia, I mean, it was just almost a perfect match. You could just overlay them, same body type.
Oh boy. Here we are by the furcula. Right here's the furcula. We can probably play with the you can see already, we could probably play with the setting and see how the furcula is compromised. And it looks like there's, like right now, yeah, when you change your angle, sometimes you'll lose the image. I'm not a radiologist. Oh, there's one interesting one here. See how you can get a close-up shot also? Right here.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that. That is a, look at that. There's even, yeah. So that's a cordiform head. My favorite, of course, is the skull of Louisa, because I feel like with the skulls, you don't really expect to be too much in the brain, skull, but the brain. And when you see there's a bunch of other soft tissue, it makes you question things. Probably want to cut into this also, though. So again, you bring your Roy up.
We should do the giveaway.
Oh, yeah, let's do it. We've been on so long, I just lost track of time. I've just been hanging out with you guys. All right, let's do the giveaway. All right, good call. Wrap this up. I had a lot of iced tea today, so I.
You know what's funny? You have a human.
Keep me going.
You have a human on the right side.
Yeah, it helps keep
emblem.
It helps keep like my sense of space there.
It's not a tridactyl being, but a human.
All right, guys, let's go ahead and pull up our number list here so we can see who our potential wieners are. You can see we've had a lot of winners so far. And the other thing we have to bring up is our Roll 20. I don't know if anybody still plays D&D out there. But
do you have the sound effects like?
That's funny. I used to, speaking of D&D, I used to have a roulette wheel I would use sometimes to like kill a player off.
Oh, that would be wild. Yeah. They're so hard to find and they're expensive too.
Oh yeah, this was a digital one.
Okay. Yeah, real ones are just expensive.
All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll 3 100s because it's taking a while for people to win because I keep getting numbers of people who already won. So what we'll do, we'll roll 3, and that way hopefully one of those is a winner. And it'll be the first number that we get. The first number that's accurate. So here we go. Let's roll some dice. And easy for you to say. Let's see. Where are the dice? Here we go. We're going to do 3 100s. All right. Let's go look at the actual chat screen. I think that'll be better to see here. Dun, 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 dun. Where is the chat, guys? I used to be good at this. Thanks for calling for the giveaway, Todd, because man, I was just talking and talking.
We were having fun.
Yeah, we were having fun.
We were having fun. Okay. Good. I know, and just like the subject just goes on and on, especially. Okay, so the first number was, here, I'll pull it up here. Looks like 97. We have 97. Oh, wait, no, that's not it. Here it is. 20. First number is 20. 20. And 20 was already a winner. Next number is 42. 42. Tony.
42.
Tony D. Actually, is that in yellow? Tony D's in yellow. He's already won. That's why I was like, I have to roll like multiple, multiple dice. All right, let's see.
Carl Shine's got another great question. The eggs. What's inside of them? Because the larvae that we're taking pictures of are much smaller than the eggs.
Yeah, the eggs are definitely seem confusing because I've already detected older larva, the four-limb first larva, in an egg. So if you look closely at the eggs, in fact, even in the video on my X page, even in that video, there's holes in the egg. So what I don't know. Also, what I've seen in Louisa, I've taken images of serpentine shapes in the eggs. Let's see, Sal's already won too. That's why I was saying I have to roll 3 dice to even like get somebody to win, unfortunately. So yeah, so I've detected the serpentine shapes in the eggs. I've seen masses of larvae in the eggs. So are they, as I assert, polyembryonic? Are the eggs actually masses, perhaps? You know, even in Maria, I see what could be construed as brood zones, or in Wawita, brood zones, massive amounts of tiny little reflective things that look like eggs and larvae. Okay, so we got another 3 numbers here. Let's see if, please help me and please make one of these a winner. 39. What do we got for 39? I keep having to move all these guys around. 39. Is 39 a winner? Aaron, none. Okay. That's legit. That does not look like it's in the yellow. So Aaron, thank you for watching. We will definitely do this again. We will do this until the last number is called, or if I run out of the epoxy. And once I run out of the epoxy, that is it for that. So guys, thanks for coming. I don't even know what time it is. 9:16. Okay, so I went like a half hour over, right? No, I went, wow. I usually only go till 7:44. That's what I used to. Before you guys showed up. I would have done it too if it wasn't for you kids making me talk the whole time, right? Well, I'm glad we gave away one of these. And once I do the whole contest, and then if anybody else wants a head, we can talk about it.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
So the egg that we were talking about.
Yeah.
Are you thinking that maybe the egg has a bunch of larvas in it, and then the larvas are released?
Yeah, it's confusing. It's that, or
that would be like a spider.
Yeah. It seems like the egg is polyembryonic to me. Well, if that's the case, that would be another invertebrate trait, wouldn't it?
Because I can't find any other animal that is like a fish or anything like that, because fish only have one species per egg.
And that's why also, the big reveal in all of this is seeing how the reproduction changes from the little ones to the hybrids, which might have something completely different. Right?
Yeah.
So before we wrap up, since we did have the question, thanks for reading it out loud. Let's just see if I can pull up one of the earliest eggs, which doesn't have the best image, but this is when I started my journey. Was this image here?
Now, these eggs are pretty much solid because they've been around for 1,000 years. This is when I began
my larval journey, is that I saw like this one up here. You see those two black dots? It's almost like you might see like with shrimp or something. The black dots are the voids of the eyes. The eyes are not gonna reflect. They're gonna come up negative when you're checking the density. So that was my journey, which just brought me closer and closer.
Well, that egg looked like it had something in it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So this one on the left looks like it's more developed. Now, yeah, I mean, is this one, is there a big thing in there? I don't know. It's hard to figure it out because the eggs do have multiple polyembryonics in them. There's multiple larvae in them, but I don't know if they just entered afterwards from a previous generation.
That looks like a single.
This one on the right?
No, the one on the left looks like just
no, definitely not.
No, look, there's a body, there's a tail, there's arms, there's legs.
What? No, man.
No, look at it.
Guys, I saw this movie. It was called Aliens, and the way that they reproduced, somebody would lay an egg, and then that egg would hatch into like a different creature that then would go and lay larvae or eggs.
Well, yeah, else. And my other theory with these is that they're born with fertilized eggs, telescopic generations, which would be another invertebrate katydid chick.
Is that not a body? One whole body right there?
Where, on the left?
In the egg?
No, look at the look, you're not following the paired black dots. Look at all the paired black dots.
I'm just looking at the white part.
The white part's the egg. The reflection.
Oh,
I mean, there's a white head here, I guess. These gray shapes are actual larval forms.
I was thinking those are arms.
Okay. But yeah. Well, again, I'm not looking at, I don't see these as being born with arms, but rather as larvae. I mean, there's probably one right here, an eye and an eye. You guys see that? It's awfully faded on that screen. So, but these were just the first pictures anyway. And like from there, I was able to, and this was using the other DICOM reader too, micro DICOM. So that was the beginning of my journey. It wasn't until I got 3D Slicer I was able to do all the, well, the 3D, right? All right, guys, I think I've talked my share. Let me pull you guys back up here. Thank you so much, both of you, for coming. You made this a lot easier. Thanks, everyone in the chat.
What'd you find there?
I got a little rock that looks like an egg, so I was just holding up.
Oh, yeah, but it's more than a rock. I'm thinking the larva is an intrusive parasite.
Wouldn't it be wild?
But it has the same morphology. Carl says it could be a intrusive parasite. It could be both.
What if people do have rocks that are
Todd actually has some
eggs?
Possible artifacts from somewhere in the world.
Wouldn't it be wild if people actually have ancient artifact eggs and they don't know they have them? And they're they look like rocks.
Well, remember, if a modern person made those, it's still an artifact.
The modern artifact.
Even if it's just a modern artifact. Thanks again for coming. I am closing up shop. I need a drink.